Okay, so quick recap on today's trades that I took and I called out in the Discord. Today I entered 3 trades and they were all on SPX, right? So we had 1 loser, 2 winners down here. But looking back on this first trade that I took a small loss on, I mean, it really wasn't a good setup and I shouldn't have entered for a few reasons. The first thing is that I typically don't enter trades this early in the morning, just because price at open, obviously, right, it's pretty unpredictable, especially in my experience. But yeah, it can move really fast and it can be a little bit unpredictable. But the reason I entered was because we of course have positive hourly velocity, right? And so we have price rejecting the 1 minute, the hourly trigger here, but typically I like to wait for the 1 minute trigger to come down into the hourly trigger and a price mount above both triggers for an entry, right? Here I entered basically late, right? So typically an entry is down here, right? So this whole candle happened before my entry and I got stopped out almost immediately. So that move had no follow through. Okay, these 2 entries or these 2 setups that happened later in the day were way better setups, right? This first one is typically what I like to look for the most. The reason I say that is because it's the first bear plane that's happening after a 3 trigger cluster break, right? So we have the 3 triggers consolidating here. We have price doing some consolidation for about an hour or so. And then we have price make a decision to the downside here. Okay, so this is a strong downtrend. Okay, and although this bear plane doesn't have a lot of the things that I typically look for in a bear plane, the reason why I was confident in taking the entry on that candle close there was because it's the first bear plane after the 3 trigger cluster, like I said, right? So price didn't necessarily come all the way up to the 5 minute trigger. It also did not form divergences down here, but it spent very little time above the 1 minute trigger. And because price is in a very strong downtrend, I had confidence in entering once price broke back below the 1 minute trigger. Okay, but this was a really fast move. Okay, so it basically, I was in and out within 3 minutes. I took profits on the way down. But just those 3 candles was basically like 100% move, I believe. This second bear plane setup, I had a lot more confidence entering, right? Because it had basically all those things that I mentioned, right? It had a 1 minute divergence. It had a stronger downside print on hourly velocity. It also had tighter triggers here, right? So price came all the way up to the 5 minute trigger and it broke back below both triggers here with this candle. I entered the second candle and I took profits on the way down. But yeah, this basically was more of a textbook type of bear plane setup here. And yeah, this was one of my best trading days, just because I typically only enter 1 trade, sometimes 2 in a day, but yeah, these were just very good bear plane setups here. Got a little lucky, so yeah.